And peace to the God, peace to the God, peace to the gods, peace to the earths and all the righteous families of the planet. Assalamu alaikum. It's your big brother Fahiym back again with another bill for the family. I got my brother here, my brother Amir. You know what I'm saying? Assalamu alaikum, God. Peace to the God.
Peace to the
Can you hear me,
God.
God?
Salam Allah. What's going on with you, brother?
I'm doing fine, Lord. I'm doing well, all wise and all civilized, trying to combat against the erroneous teachings and thinking out there in the world, and all of the pseudoscience, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pseudoscience of the underdeveloped, you know, uh, uh, conscious brothers, you know what I'm saying? Trying to, navigate my way through
Yeah.
that, God. You know what I'm saying? I can't complain though. You know what I mean? But yeah, I wanted to get you on the channel to build, man, for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just real briefly, just tell, where you from for the people who don't know and your attribute and when you got knowledge
All right. So
yourself.
my name is Emir Shabazz Allah, 42 years old. I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania. I also grew up back and forth in North Philadelphia. Um, I got knowledge of self around 11 years old through the 5% Nation of Islam. Then, when I was about 25 years old, I registered at Muhammad's Temple number 12 in Philadelphia under Minister Mutaquan Ali.
Mm.
I had a lot of experience. I had a lot of experience in different classes. Got to meet a lot of people. I had some experiences with, what I'm saying. I ended up leaving the temple. I was going through some things with my family, and I was going through some other things. But I always continued to study the teachings, push the teachings, and I'm all about the word of the messenger. I'm not about division, whether it's 5%ers, Nation of Islam, whether it's this branch or that branch or whatever. If you're a student of the messenger, you got to stand on truth and just like that.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? I mean, lately, we've been on Facebook and just dealing with some of the topics on there with some of the brothers with some of the posts I've been seeing. And, as you know, me, Brother Jihad and Brother Jabbar been dealing with the whole, Muslim God thing and, like going back and forth with the NG on those type of topics. What is your views, like on that? Like, how do you see the lessons? Do you see them as Muslim lessons for Muslim God students, or do you see them as having nothing to do with any Muslim or any Islam, or how do you view that?
I see the lessons for what they are, regardless of people like it or not. They're not Muslim. I'm not going to use the term Muslim God lessons, but they're definitely Muslim lessons because they was established by Muslims. Number one. Number two, they are the supreme wisdom lessons for the lost found tribe of Shabazz, right? The God tribe of Shabazz is the black Asiatic man. The tribe of Shabazz is also Muslim by nature because the messenger says over and over a message to the black man, we are all Allah, the black man. We are little Allahs. Master for Muhammad is the supreme Allah. So that being said, if we are all Allahs and the lessons are teaching you there's 17 million. So if all black people in America are little Allahs and he's telling you that we're Muslim by nature, then the lessons for the lost found God tribe of Shabazz in the wilderness of North America are Muslim lessons for the 17 million Muslims that forgot or didn't know they were Muslims until they were reminded by our Savior, Master Fard Muhammad. Whether you like it or not, simple and plain.
Mm, mm. I know you built on the uncle part a little while ago, like, you know what I'm saying? I forgot what you had said just a few
Yeah. All
minutes
this
ago.
stuff about how we worship Master Fard, and well, the thing is that I'm saying that I realize that I'm God. Like, so listen, let's do it like this. First of all this talk about the messenger didn't teach that the black man is God exclusively. That's a lie. That means you never read Message to the Black Man. And if you don't read Message to the Black Man, I don't care how many times you memorize the lessons and quote them, you're not going to understand the lessons too good because the degree who is the original man, I want to say the first 5 chapters of Message to the Black Man break that down in itself. It's not about worshiping Master Fard, it's about studying the lessons. Do you put the lessons into action and live the lessons? And then eventually, when you shed your self, your ego, when you get rid of your lower self, rise to your higher self, your mind becomes the supreme divine mind of Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. You become one with Allah. Allah is one with you, because Allah is man and man is Allah. So the whole point of studying these lessons is to realize and recognize that you're God, because you're resurrecting from a triple stage of darkness of being dumb, deaf, and blind. And resurrection is not a prophecy, it's a profession. So what I'm saying is that you can quote these lessons and study these lessons, but you're not resurrected from being mentally dead. If you can quote these lessons and study these lessons and you're still out there doing what you're doing, we call that, when I was coming up in the 90s, we call that God body, and God body was separate from like the other 5%ers. Like, you had people that knew the knowledge and knew the lessons, but they were still doing devilishment. They were still living uncivilized. They were still treating their black woman other than what she is, which is the second self of Allah, because the black woman is God too. So therefore, even though they didn't view it that way and they said earth, but same difference. It's not about worshiping Master Fard. It's about worshiping yourself. You are Allah. You're Fard's uncle. It ain't the other way around. When are you going to get it? He came here to remind you that you're his uncle. He's telling you himself. He knows that you're his uncle, not his brother, not his little cousin, not his nephew. So stop lying, saying that it's about worshiping Fard or whatever. Fard was the Master Fard Muhammad. Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad just basically came here to remind you of yourself. So right now, the way y'all be talking and the way y'all feel, you only know that because of Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. He was supreme. If Allah the Father was the supreme Allah that was supposed to come to the wilderness and save everybody, including the babies, to be honest with you, Master Fard Muhammad would have never appeared. So when you say anything other than what I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I know they're going to come for me. I don't care. If you view it any other way than the way that I'm viewing it, technically you're a hypocrite to the lessons. Let's leave the messenger and the master out of it. You're a hypocrite to everything that's in the 120. You're a hypocrite to the supreme wisdom itself. If you had the right knowledge and comprehension of what the supreme wisdom is talking about, you wouldn't think, you can't, if the culture, well, go ahead, ask me the next question, because I want to touch on that too. How can the culture ever be I God if you don't master the culture of Islam first? You can't get the I God without mastering the culture of Islam and having discipline and refinement. You know how many of the gods get on here and curse and use baby language and talk like the next street nigger drug dealer with his pants off his ass, or the next gang banger or whatever in your local project or whatever. As soon as they disagree with what somebody else has to say about them, their lessons or their philosophy or the way they view the lessons, they can't sit there and use common English. You wouldn't talk like that in your mom's house. So when you're speaking the supreme wisdom out of your mouth, the 120, why can't you have enough respect for the knowledge of God that you have in your own mom's house? If you're living these lessons, you're showing it. Where's the refinement at? Power and refinement in the supreme mathematics. How many of them got it?
I like what you said earlier when you said, quoting these lessons. Really, it's been shown and proven that doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't do anything.
I memorized the pledge allegiance of the flag. Like I said, we all did, but I'm not the white person that sat down and wrote the pledge allegiance of the flag. I know the Star Spangled Banner by heart. There's a lot of things I know by heart, but I don't know that. It's deeper than that. Like Jism, just like I said, beneath the surface. What the NGE needs to do with these lessons, like Jizza, is go beneath the surface. They're staying on face value.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I hear them say, Muslim God is an oxymoron and just so many different things like that, it just brings to mind, their level of study, because it's like, if the lessons are lost found Muslim lessons and it's growing us into becoming gods, how would you, how
reading comprehension? They'll tell you all day, no, who said they were? Some of them say, well, who said they were lessons just for Muslims? They're for everybody. They're for 5%. Okay, so what does that say right there? Right? You have, as long as you have the reading comprehension and the reading level of a 2-year-old, it clearly says lost found Muslim lesson number. You speak English, right? It doesn't say
Right.
lost found. It doesn't say like lost found Asiatic. If it said lost found Asiatic lesson, well, then maybe I can see if you said that. It said, and any way you look at it, Asiatics are Muslim by nature because Asiatics are black people. Black people, the black
Mm.
man is Allah and he's Muslim by nature, according to the
Right.
messenger.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
disagree
Yeah.
with the messenger, why are you studying anything he said or wrote? If you disagree with it, there's other things that you can study and write. Whether you go to the temple or the mosque or not, if you're a student of the messenger, you're a student of the messenger, right? Okay,
That's
so
that's always been my whole thing. Like if y'all, we say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's told us that we're Muslims and we're gods. We teach that. They don't. The messenger said that, we're of the holy tribe of Shabazz. We teach that. They don't. The messenger said, like I can literally go down the line naming things that are, inconsistent with them with the lessons. And I always ask that question, why y'all just don't create your own lessons? Isn't Allah supreme and he's supposed to be, like his word is never frustrated or his never word his, like create your own lessons if you don't
and
believe or follow.
like we touched on,
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
said about, well, they have the supreme mathematics and they have the alphabet, but I'm gonna say this, right? Why even take the mathematics? Just take the alphabet. Because from 1 to 9, I was actually last night. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm 10 seconds away from my bedroom. What's crazy is last night I'm reading Theology of Time. Matter of fact, no, we're going to do that another time. The next one, I want to do something. In Theology of Time, the messenger goes through from 1 to 9. He talks about when you put a 1 by a cipher, when you put it on the other side of the cipher. You read Theology of Time, right?
Right, yes, sir.
But before that, there was what? You had the 12 jewels of Islam. You had what? The science of numbers. There was all these different, you know what I'm saying? So if you're learning that in minister's class, right? Or if you're getting them jewels in F.O.I class, you already have that. You can take that out and you can teach them the same thing. Of course, you're not going to name it the same thing. You may say, well, it's the supreme mathematics, but that's right and exact by calling that because it is supreme mathematics. So if you want to be technical, how about you just roll with the alphabet? Otherwise, you're still rolling with the messenger's teachings.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, even with some of the alphabet, to be honest with you, some of those letters, like, you know what I'm saying, it's still a form of, you know what I'm saying, what the messenger taught. Like his understanding is still in there. You know what I'm saying? To break each one of those letters down or whatever, the understanding of the messenger's in there somewhere. You know what I mean? Brother Jihad, I'm seeing that he popped on, but hold on a second. Yeah, oh well, I see his mic went off. Hold on.
Dave, I'm just listening to the bell.
Peace to the God.
Peace.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. I can hear both of y'all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Me and the God was just building. I didn't even see the thing until just a few minutes ago, and I was like, oh, yo, the God Jihad is down. Yeah. Yeah, me and the God was just building. Brother Emir, you know what I'm saying? The God, I ain't built with the God in a minute. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? And
sir.
the God,
I don't want to cut y'all wisdom.
Say it again.
Said I don't want to cut y'all wisdom.
Did you want me to get into right quick about the?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Did you want me to get into right quick about the national and the universal and how no matter what, like the fact that it's our crown, like this is one thing that this has been bugging me for years. A lot of times people will have tattoos of the universal, or sometimes people, like you see these younger dudes that are just getting into the teachings, they might have a universal, some type of necklace that they order or they buy at something or whatever, and it might be somebody else will see them with it, and they're NGE. They're not first generation 5% or nothing like that. So they get hostile with them for having it on because they may ask them a few degrees and they can't quote, or they just got into it. They're only dealing with the mathematics shit. They'll get really hostile or like it's some gangbanging shit or whatever. Like, here's the thing about that, right? Anybody that's black, brown, yellow, or red, it is their birthright. Any of y'all can get on here and say what you want. I'll tell you from the messenger's mouth, because your flag come from our flag. It is your birthright. If you are Asiatic, and you were from the God tribe of Shabazz, or you were from the original people, to wear that flag or fly that flag, whether it's in the form of the national or whether it's in the form of the universal, y'all can shut up and y'all can listen to what I have to say real clear. The messenger, when this flag was given out, before it was converted to your version, which represents the same thing, freedom, justice, equality, is Islam in 360 degrees of totality. Sun, moon, and star, we all know what it's hitting for, right? Okay, so that flag is over top of our heads at all time. That is a flag that was, that is our crown as the gods of this universe, the black God tribe of Shabazz. That is our birthright. That is a crown given to us. I don't care whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Europe. I don't care how big of a king you are. Ain't no crown, not even the messenger himself, his crown. Kufi, there's no crown greater. That's why he had the universe on there. Then the sun, moon, and stars. That's letting you know that you're God. So how can you go up to another black god, another brown person, yellow person, red person, another Asiatic person, and tell them just because they couldn't answer a question, or just because they don't have that wisdom and understanding yet, and they just got the knowledge to build on and study, that they can't have their birthright to wear the holiest flag in the universe? Where did Allah the Father, Brother Minister Clarence 13X, where did he get the ideas of the sun, moon, and star from? Was he not a Muslim in the Nation of Islam? Nobody, let me tell you something. Nobody got it right. If they're not white, and there's discrepancies on that. I've met Italian dudes that were 5% or whatever. The 5%, things are changing. I get it. But I'm just saying how I see it. If they're not white, if they're not from the grafted skunks of the planet Earth, except for them, you should never approach somebody and tell them to take their birthright off. Because if you snatch it off, rip it off, if you tell them to take it off, guess what? You're both still standing under it. You're both still standing under the same crown. You want him to take his crown off and you wear the same crown. How dumb, that's stupid. Stupidity, ignorance. They have the comprehension level of these lessons and the teachings of the messenger and Allah, the person of Master Muhammad, of a gnat, of a 4-year-old.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. You're right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know they.
How you gonna tell somebody take the sun, moon, and stars off, and you're still standing on the planet Earth, rotating at 1,032.5 miles per hour under the sun, moon, and stars?
I mean, it's funny because I always have to remind them that it was the messenger says, and I'll say he has arrived, that it was a wise Muslim God that put that out there in the universe for us. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I should be telling you to take off my flag. You not, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I try to refrain from using the term baby gods and stuff a lot, but it's just it's so fitting, to use that, term when you're describing some of their thoughts and actions and teachings,
Why even
brothers
call them baby gods when we can just pat them on the ass, burp them, and lay them down for a nap, and maybe when they wake up, they'll have a clearer understanding after they have some sweet dreams.
I mean, the thing about it is, though, God,
because as soon as it's the thing, as soon as you use the term baby God, you already know it's going to turn into a conflict. And then the first thing I've seen instances where they use something to bait you in, and it becomes a conflict, and then they'll get around some of the brothers, that Muslim brothers or Muslim gods that they know or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in or out the temple, and they'll be like, yeah, well, brother so and so is disagreeable. Let me tell you how he got, trying to. It's the Yaqub mentality. Ain't nothing wrong with the 5% Nation of Islam. Ain't nothing wrong with the 5%ers. Ain't nothing wrong with Allah the Father. Ain't nothing wrong with justice. Ain't nothing wrong with the first 9 born. But there's something wrong with the people who have deviated. Like, I met one young dude. He had extra stuff in his. I'm not talking about plus lessons. Like, he just had extra stuff, and some of his stuff was worded different. You got. First of all, the nation of gods and earth remind me of where the Holy Quran is saying after the first 3 generations of Sahaba, the Prophet Muhammad, they'll deviate and go into, 73 or 93 sects, and none of them will be of me. That's basically what happened to the NGE from being the original 5% Nation of Islam. They can get on here and say whatever they want, call me out, whatever. I work Friday through Sunday, 12-hour shifts, 6:30 in the morning, 7 p.m. at night. I'm available Monday through Thursday. Whatever you see me, I'm in here studying one of the messenger's books, or I'm in here lifting weights or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm at the gym, or I'm with my family, but I'll stop whatever just to shut you down. I don't care, because there ain't nothing but lies out here. If you don't want to get with the elders of the Nation of Islam to find out the true interpretation of the lessons or understand something, you can get with the elders in the Nation of Gods and Earths, the original 5%ers, those who are still around, the pioneers, some of the first generation. And I guarantee you're going to hear a lot of things that are totally different than what you're being taught or what you're hearing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, it's like, they a lot is going off course, God. That's just our job, is just to keep putting that clean glass up in front of the dirty glass. You know what I'm saying? That's basically all we
Let's
can
make
do.
it simple and plain, like the messenger. All this is simple as this, right? Let's separate. Let's be different. Let's be different. I can give you a prime example because you're from New York, and me and you talk. I had a background when I was younger. I don't live like that no more. But it's kind of like how Brooklyn is. Brooklyn used to be red, was always red. But now Brooklyn, with most of especially with most of the West Indian culture, Brooklyn is now blue, true blue. Let's be different. But when I get around some of the young lopes, like they say, a lot of that came from everybody was red. So we was like, let's do something different. It's the same. It's the same
concept.
Yeah, like if me and you is both mechanics, and we went to the same, like the F.O.I or whatever tech, the same school, and got degrees, and we come out, and we had plans on working together. But I know that I would benefit more from trying to do my own thing instead of the group thing, or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna do something different. You might come out with such and such and such and have your gimmick for your garage and your colors and the way you do your commercials, and I'm gonna open up one, and we might still be cool or somewhat cool, but I'm gonna put my own twist to it to try to do my own thing. That's all fine and dandy, but don't cherry pick with it. They don't like to be called cherry pickers, but they don't like too much of anything. They're hostile. If the culture is I God, why are you hostile? God.
Yeah.
How can the culture get the I God when you're supposed to be according to the lessons? In order for you, the culture is I God. Once you master the culture of Islam, your culture becomes I God. But it ain't gonna never get y'all claiming I God already, and you ain't got no refinement. You ain't got no discipline. God is not self-destructive. God is a jealous God. God can be a loving God. God can be a God of war. God, you know what I'm saying? All that. That's fine and dandy, but God is not self-destructive. We know that because, okay, sometimes the messenger taught out of the Bible. What is the very first commandment? Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. So that's letting you, like, God obviously wouldn't destroy himself. The majority of the gods engage in all types of vices. How do you get to God? How do you get to that point and say you have the supreme divine mind of the Allah consciousness, which can manifest itself in the flesh and bone, in its highest form of manifestation of creation on this earth, which is the black man with 7.5 ounces of brain? How can you get to that supremacy? You're always going to be a little God. You're always going to be an Allah. How are you going to get to that supremacy when you're rocking yourself to sleep every night with that baby bottle, as they said it, like Malcolm X with that 40, or that deuce, or sitting around smoking blunts? You can build a lot more and establish a program like Mr. Muhammad did with a sober mind. How many parliaments take place where they smoke blunts and drink 40s? How many parliaments take place? How many ciphers and builds take place where when the bitches get there, now all of a sudden they're more work? And a lot of them messing with each other and going behind. No. Self-control, discipline, refinement. Didn't Allah the Father also say, and I meant to say this to you earlier, didn't he also say some of the babies were going to have to go back into the temple anyway because they needed the discipline?
That's a fact.
That's why your culture isn't I God. Your culture is Islam. Until you get to a point of maturity in your brain and your heart, body and soul, to where you can live out those lessons that you rattle off, that you ain't showing and proving on, then you become Allah. Then the culture becomes I God. And only
That's
at
a
that
good
point.
point.
There's a lot of us that still ain't at I God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
y'all don't
that's a
have
good
no
point.
right to say that. I don't care how you don't like it. I give you my phone number too. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta study Islam. A lot of them don't know Islam. You know, and that's the thing that I was trying to explain to the brother when we was, you know, online debating or whatever, you know. I told him, I'm like, you know, when I first got knowledge of self, you know, coming out of a Christian household, you know, I didn't know nothing about I didn't know what a Quran was. I didn't know a Muhammad Bard. What the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? Like Elijah
Right,
and all.
right.
I didn't know. Only thing I knew was like Muhammad Ali and you know stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because of course he was entertainment. You know what I mean? But you know, coming into the 5% nation of gods and earths, I was able to learn a little bit. You know, when it woke me up. You know what I'm saying? But it was just a little bit. It's like when I came into the Nation of Islam, it was like it woke me all the way up now. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
wow. And I used to be like, oh, wow,
Right.
Elijah said that? Oh, shit, I thought the Father said that. Oh, wait, Elijah said that first? Oh, man, you know, brothers used to bomb the hell out of me because I used to come in there telling them, like, yo, and Allah, the Father, and they used to be like, Assalamu alaikum,
Their
brother. No.
interpretation of the breakdown to the word Islam is mathematically incorrect. You want me to tell you why they say I love Allah's mathematics? There's many
Mm,
Allahs. We're Allah. When you're saying it out of your own mouth, Allah is saying I love Allah's mathematics. It's
mm,
I love Allah. This is the way that I see it mathematically correct, and I think it is. I know it is. I love Allah and the person of Master Fard Muhammad's mathematics. You know why? Because if
mm.
it can't never be Allah the Father, because Allah the Father had to join the temple and he had to love Islam in the form of it being Master Fard Muhammad's mathematics in order to get it, memorize it, love it, be the sharpest one in the temple, even over
Right.
Malcolm, to leave the temple to come out and deliver it to the people. So even
Mm.
Allah the Father sincerely loves Allah in the person of Master Fard Muhammad's mathematics
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
mathematics is Islam. So as soon as they come with this, no, because because mathematics is Islam and it can be proven at no limit of time in 360 degrees of totality.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 I God, they try to disassociate it from, you know, the Islam because of course they don't want to
You
be
can't have
Muslims.
I
They don't
God
want
without having Islam first.
right. They
How do
know
you get
Islam,
the
they know
perfection without striving for it?
and see when you start speaking about all those words, now you trying to tell me I'm a Muslim. No, brother, I'm not no Muslim. No, no.
I don't submit. I don't submit. Check it out. When you get ready to
Yeah.
sneeze and your heart stops for a second, you submit. I prove to you that you submit, that the Quran is correct, that Allah and the
Yeah.
person of Master Fard Muhammad is correct, that Elijah Muhammad is correct. You do submit all day, 360 degrees in totality, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You submit on a constant basis in a total revolution. You submit when you wake up in the morning. You submit when you go to sleep. You submit when you sit down to defecate. You submit when you urinate. You submit just by breathing. When you came out of your mom's womb, out of that darkness, right here in the physical body, and you breathed your first breath, you submitted to the natural law of nature, which is Islam, mathematically by taking your first breath and breathing in
Right.
Arabic, what they say is ruach, or the spirit, which
Yeah,
is the
that's right.
Allah that you can't see. You submit. So don't sit there and tell me that you're not Muslim by nature and you don't submit. You just didn't understand what the messenger was saying when he broke that down about every Muslim. You know what I mean? Every even Allah prays like and all that, and Muslims submit, and God is
Right.
all Muslim. You know what I'm saying? I need something
They
to
have
drink,
no
but you
right.
know where
They
I'm going with
right.
it. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't, again, comprehension.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
people that have
Oh,
12th
yeah.
grade readings level going up
Yeah.
through school that are 6 years old, but they don't
Right.
comprehend it yet like a 17-year-old does. They can just read it and rattle it off. That's the NGE right there.
I always say that reading comprehension is so, you know what I mean? Like with them because they literally have read through all of those lessons, but will sit there and say, no, I'm not no Muslim God. No, that's an oxymoron. Or no, we don't study Islam. We do I God. It don't have nothing to do with Islam. And It's like, damn, do you know what you just read? You know what I'm saying?
All that
You know,
standing on their square, all that came from like, yo, it's just ridiculous. They'll be doing they'll be basically running the whole Muslim program minus the restrictive laws of Islam, trying to argue you down how they're not Muslim.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted my brother Ramel to pop back on, because me and him always be going back and forth, and you know what I'm saying about that. Because in his mind, he's just thinking, why are you calling yourself, a Muslim God, or why are you wearing our flag, or why are you doing it? Why do you have our lessons, or why are you using our vernacular? Or why are you? And I'm like, brother, I should be asking you that. Like, but it's mind blowing to him. He don't get that. The father and the elders
Right.
were there and they taught this knowledge and they and it's like, I try not to be disrespectful. But it's like I be wanting to tell the NGE brothers, like, I don't give a damn what the father and the firstborn said. Once Elijah said something and it's established, what do I care about what these individuals say unless it's in accordance with what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us? Now, if
The
Elijah
easiest
says,
way to destroy them is through your vocabulary.
just for example, Elijah says, no, we shouldn't eat pork. And they're like, no, we could eat some forms of pork. It's okay. I'm not going to listen to that. I don't give a shit about what they're saying. I'm going with you know what I'm saying? So,
I know about that too.
yeah.
I know a lot of them. What's crazy about that is I know a lot of them that not like stuff that people have split decisions on, like Mountain Dew or a certain type of gum. I mean, I know a lot of them, especially this new wave of them, they eat pork and their whole thing is, well, I'm God. I do what I want in my universe. And some of these dudes are sharp, like, and they eat pork. They'll be like, oh, well, occasionally I'll treat myself to some red tips at the Chinese joint or whatever. Technically, if you want to be technical, I'm trying to get out of eating meat because I've eaten it for so long as an athlete.
Right.
And I like the protein, I like the muscle mass it gives me. But according to the messenger, it's all pork. Yeah, I like as far as meat. Like, so I mean, for you to say, if you're God, then again, God is not self-destructive. I know somebody who their insides were starting to get messed up from eating meat. This was he was a big dude. This is when I lived back home in the city. And he was always on everything out of the word out of his mouth. It's because I'm God, it's because I'm Allah, it's because I'm God in the flesh. Why you keep self-destructing yourself? Every time I get around you, you're like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how long I'm going to live. There's nothing after the grave. Don't they teach you that in your cipher? So why the hell are you, if you already know, maybe it was his pancreas or intestines, I don't know. But if you already know you're not in good health, if you was God, you can't be God. You have the intelligence of like a maggot on shit. Your brain has to be that minuscule for you to want to keep putting whatever you're putting in your body once a doctor tells you, look, if you stop this, you'll be okay. If you keep going, you're eventually going to get this and then you're going to die from it. So you're not God. That you sit around and read that shit for nothing. If I was you, I'd be sitting up banging my wife and going out partying, or your girlfriend, baby's mom, whatever, drinking and partying with my friends, living it up, traveling, enjoying my life because I know I'm killing myself. If you were doing that, you'd be closer to being God in the brain than that. Like this is what I'm saying. Like with them, it's about reading the lessons, memorizing them, and learning how to rattle them off and sounding and looking cool. I don't care if they get mad at me about it. Because check this out, right? When I was younger, I was in a gang, and the NGE treats our supreme wisdom lessons the same way when you come home blood, or you loke up, or do whatever set you join, and you get your lit when you get your paperwork, and you trying to make sure you memorize it so that you can let it be known that you're real right. That whole culture is based on the same thing. Oh, you can't quote. We put him in a cipher the same way that they'll DP you or they'll G check you. So if you don't want to be looked at in a certain light, I'm not saying all of them. Much respect to the first generation, and some of us second generation. Some of us join the nation. Some of us stay 5%, or you know what I mean, gods or whatever. Some that I grew up with turned Christian or Orthodox Muslim, or they're into other stuff. Like they're just spiritual, fine and dandy. Much respect to all of them who still had some common sense, but you're presenting yourself in a certain way. I'm gonna put this out there since we're gonna be on YouTube, right? Go
Right.
look on YouTube at the majority of their character on how they act. When you look at any videos of them, look at their character, and you tell me if that is
when you say them, you talking about NGE or gang?
NGE,
Okay,
the
okay,
NGE. Ask yourself, is that a highly refined, civilized person? Ask yourself, is there anything godly or righteous that you see about the way? I'm not going to say 100%, but I'm gonna say like 65 to 70% of them carry themselves, present themselves. Listen to the language they use. You want to talk about supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet, you want to study all these books and read, and then you're sitting there and you're talking like the next nigga on the corner with a 40 and a blunt and a Glock 19 in his waistband and a pocket full of crack. Why would you be presenting yourself that? Every time you present your demonstration, use the right decorum, use the right vernacular, use the right vocabulary.
right.
Good words are priceless. They're worth more than gold. If you teaching something and you talking to somebody in a certain way, you know how much bigger they could be. Like, you don't have to listen. When somebody's intelligent, they talk about it, I'm all wise and civilized. No, you're not. Shut up. When a person is intelligent, he doesn't need to use profanity. He doesn't need to use baby language. He doesn't need to sit there and talk like how the slave master already assumes and thinks that we talk, because they think that we still haven't mastered their language because we speak in a form of ebonics. If you're when you're presenting this stuff, try to be intelligent, try to be clean, classy, because the way you speak, it influences. When you speak, and that's vibration, that's energy. This is real. So if you want people to vibrate and gravitate toward what you're speaking, do it in the best way. Do it in the cleanest way. Elijah, you know what I'm saying? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the way that he has his ministers present things, just everybody, the way that he wants us to be is like spring water. I'm gonna put it to you just like this. And then you got, or you can, soda tastes good and it's sweet and it got a flavor you may like or whatever. And you know what I mean? You may like the buzz you get off of the soda, but eventually the soda is going to kill you. The spring water is not, because it's pure. I feel like they go out here and offer people Pepsi with these teachings. These teachings ain't Pepsi. They're Deer Park.
Yeah.
They're straight. Nah, let's forget Deer Park, because Deer Park ain't the best no more. These teachings are straight from the Nile, man.
Yeah, straight alkaline water.
Zamzam water.
Yeah, Zamzam. Exactly. Yeah, God, man, yo, it's a lot, man. It's just so much, man. But I think if it's one thing that I would love to accomplish, like I said, and that's just to, basically, raise the gods up, to a higher level of thinking. And when I say the gods, I'm talking about the NGE. I'm not really necessarily talking about the Muslim God, the 5% of the Nation of Islam. I know y'all gonna be all right because y'all are always reading, studying. We're always constantly elevating and stuff like that, and studying the messenger, studying the minister. So we'll be okay. But with them brothers, man, it's just like I'll be trying to, man, it's not easy, God. It's not easy, but that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, so that I could get brothers to come on, Bill, some of the elder brothers who know the science, who know the teachings, not just know, but who understand, the lessons and understand the teachings. Because, again, we've always been held under the assumption that person, no, he quote his lessons, yo, that's God, yo, he writing off the top of the head, yo, that's God right there. And the
A
longer
person in the NGE being able to quote the
30 years
lessons.
for me, God. And one thing I know is that quoting it don't mean nothing. That you're not a scholar because you can quote. It don't mean shit.
It goes back to the way that our parents raised us, especially black parents. Don't talk about it, be about it. Don't tell me, show me. I don't care what you can rattle off. Like the purpose, just because you can rattle off a degree, like if I ask you who is the original man or what, you know what I mean? If a civilized person doesn't perform his duty and all, if I'm asking you any of these degrees and you can rattle off the answer, that's equivalent to when you say, Brother Emir, what's 2 + 2? And I say 4. If you go over it so many times in class, you have it in your brain. But do you understand the scientific breakdown of 2 + 2 is 4?
Right.
Two material things plus too much more material things.
Right. It almost requires no thinking, no thinking involved, you know.
Right. Here's another analogy that I put to them, and I thought about this today at work, right? The NGE reminds me of right now, if you have a daughter and your daughter's like 7 or 8 years old, you're at work, you be doing stuff a lot. Yeah, the other parent may be there. You may be a single parent. However you want to look at it, you're in the car one day and your daughter can sing Pound Town word for word by heart. But your 8, 9-year-old daughter don't know what Pound Town is. You even make sure that your daughter don't be knowing when you and your baby's mom or your girl be knocking each other off. Like you're smooth with it. She don't even know sex exists. But she's singing Pound Town, right? Word, she knows it word by word. But does she know what it's about? She don't even know what sex is yet. That's the way that I view them. In my opinion, they don't even know what the lessons are yet. They just know what the words are. They memorize the words. The same way when they was in pre-kindergarten, they memorized the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Big whoop-de-doo. You can quote all these degrees. But I be around you. We live on the same block or in the same neighborhood. I work with you. I go to school with you. You're on my page, and you ain't living none of these things that you're sitting here rattle off. You know what that makes you by default? A hypocrite. Bible, Qur'an, supreme wisdom, the messenger's teachings, other black leaders or esoterics teachings, however you want to look at it, it's a hypocrite. A hypocrite is a hypocrite. You don't got to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're striving for perfection. We're trying to get perfect. But if you ain't even putting forth no effort to try to live out all this stuff that you're rattling to sound cool. And another thing, a lot of people that I know, they use the lessons to dominate, intimidate women. Most of the time, also, these people, when they get this, they take it and they use it for ulterior motives. I won't get on that too much tonight, but I'd say I'm going to lower the percentage and be nice. I'd say 40 to 50% of them, the real reason they wanted this after they got around it and they got into it, because when you take this, even if you have a baby understanding, when you take this, you can apply it. And you can, we know how powerful this is. A lot of them use it for pussy. Excuse my baby language. It's almost like if you go read Pimpin' Ken's book, Pimpology. I have that too. But I just have it. I bought it to read it. I read all types of stuff, and I like Pimpin' Ken. But that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people take this and they use it for negative.
That's right.
Manipulation.
That's right. I mean, a brother asked me one time, he was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I used to battle rap. I don't really be, having too much time to do that no more because there'd be so much other stuff going on.
I remember that.
Yeah, bro was like, yo, in your battle rap, you be, talking the street talk and, killing and all of that and stuff. And I'm like, yo, look at the audience. You know what I mean? When you look at the battle rap audience, like, I tried to come, I think my first battle I had, I tried to come kicking some knowledge and kicking, everybody was just stand up looking like, oh. Like, is he finished yet? Okay, yeah, like, get him, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nobody wanted to hear that. So it's like, you got to put the little, just to kind of reel them in, to draw them in. But what you just said, yeah, dudes on some pimp, you know what I mean, type shit, they might try to, do that. But then you got brothers that, from back in the 80s that was drug dealers that, they taking over a whole building. And that's the older guard right there. And they had to, when you look at like the Allah team and, you know what I'm saying, the A team back in, not the Allah team, the Righteous Brothers. I'm talking about, back in the days in Brooklyn, New York, you know what I'm saying? When you look at a lot of, the Supreme team, them brothers out there in Queens, with,
Queens.
Supreme, McGriff, that's what he's the first in charge, the older guard, the guard, he's the second in command, and it was like, it was the same thing that you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And it made them more supreme in doing what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm not gonna label anybody, but I'm gonna tell you this. So within the last 10 years, every time I come across one of the guys that's supposed to be NGE, it's the same profile. It's the type of profile that we talked about today, and characteristics, ways, and actions. So their presentation and how they manifest their physical cipher and show just how much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that they got, because they damn sure ain't got no power or refinement. It'd be the same profile, the same ways and actions, which are that of a snake of the grafted type. So these are devils. These are black devils. And then they always got a white girlfriend. It's a white girlfriend from the suburbs or a smaller rural town. And they be sitting around and they be having all these builds and doing all this stuff. And they got the white girl. She's the stat. You know what I mean? They got their guns and their drugs. They be stashing there. They be hustling out of there. Usually they ain't even real hustlers. They're only selling some weed. Every time I run across one, it's basically the same thing. And if it's not that, it's the barber. And if it ain't if it's not the barber, it was the niggas that were, for a minute, they were selling mixtapes and Burns and all that. And they still had the white girl. But now, you know what I'm saying, they're doing some other type of online hustle or whatever. Or they're supposedly upcoming rapper. They got 1 million YouTube videos. They'll never get more than like 1,000, 2,000 hits. You know what I mean? More worried about that instead of putting all their time and effort in the, I'll put it to you like this. The NGE, if you want to branch off and do something and make yourself known like as a power, just like the Nation of Islam, right? All I'm saying is, instead of just focusing on learning the trade, like the father said, why don't you focus on opening up chains and branches of like corner stores, supermarkets? Really, it's too many corner stores and everything. Supermarkets, y'all drink, right? Open up your own liquor stores, your own bars, open up your own libraries, because knowledge is supposed to be born at all times, right? Like, start your own, like I'm talking about franchises and things for the community. Y'all supposed to be the poor righteous teachers.
Get your own dispensaries.
All that. I'm with that. Exactly. So that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of the gods smoke trees. All right, so boom, like, I'm just saying, you had a blueprint. The messenger left a blueprint. If y'all want to expand, y'all calling yourselves a nation. Just like I was saying to my wife, they say it's always save the babies, save the babies. Well, where the hell is the military at? Find me one nation on the planet Earth that doesn't have a military to defend its citizens, its nationals, by birthright.
Yeah.
Don't y'all teach when y'all give the lessons out that this is your birthright? Because it is, even though you try to tell other Asiatics that don't belong to your cipher or that can't rattle off some words on a paper that they don't have a right to wear their birthright, right? Okay, so if you're saying you're a nation, where's the military at? How comes every cipher doesn't have a military? Why aren't you a little bit more organized if you're a nation?
That's a good point.
How can you save the babies without a military? You can't save the sun, moon, or the stars. The whole universe will go to shit. You ain't even got a military.
Yeah.
Nation of Islam has a military. Even the Black Panthers in their own right was a military. Black Liberation Army, Bloods, Crips, Gangster Disciples, Vice Lords, Black Keystones, all the People Nation, Folk Nation. You know what I'm saying? All the brown gangs. When they call their gangs nations, but they got a military and they move like a military. Half the time, y'all be so out of your right mind, in the devil's mind and not in Allah's mind, somebody could come up to one of your parliaments or whatever and take advantage of you. Especially a group of niggas that may not be conscious at all, but they may be working dudes that like go to the government, have training, grew up in a Marine fit, like, you know, like there's dudes out here that they may not be what we're on or the black stuff or whatever, but they still, like, most people, we live in a woke generation. And with everything happening to black people, you got groups of black people right now that are moving the way that the NGE should be moving, and the NGE don't even move that way. Get some organization and then call yourself a nation. Because in the word organization, you have organized and nation. Get organized, you become a nation. 1 + 1 = 2. How's that for supreme mathematics?
Yeah. I mean, I think I said that once before. You know, we use well, I guess the euphemism, I guess it's like a euphemism, or, you know what I'm saying? But it's really not a nation, but it's really like a group. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, you know, like when you explain it like that, because I mean, everything is unorganized. There's no military. You know, when we go back and we, you know, what, about 100 years ago, you know, 1926, 1920, you know, around time of Tulsa, Oklahoma and stuff. And we see, you know, the results of people that were, you know, financially sound and everything, but yet didn't have a military. And we see the results, you know what I'm saying, of that.
I mean, they're a law just like we're a law. So yeah, I'm still recognizing them as a nation. But what I'm saying was, if you're going to be, if you present yourself like a nation and grow as a nation. A nation can't be built. The cornerstone and the foundation of the NGE can't be memorizing and quoting the lessons and sometimes reading really deep books and then just meeting up at parliaments and being hostile to people. Also, they talk about how the teachings wasn't, if the teachings, so the teachings about how, well, the nation, they didn't want to put the teachings out in the street. Y'all don't put the teachings out on the street. Go up to somebody and ask them for the 120 and see how they react to you. Unless you're like their little cousin or their brother or their girl that they're messing with at the time, or their actual wife or their kid, maybe their road dog that they grew up with in high school. They're like, all right, I'm going. But in general, just as an outsider, go up to somebody and ask them for the 120. Be like, excuse me, I'm Asiatic. I've been doing a little studying. Can I have my birthright? They're not going to give it to you like that. They're going to be like, well, why don't you come around? Or, yo, why don't you get with me? I'm going to talk to you, whatever. Or, yo, you know what I'm saying? I got a cipher. Or I'm going to take you to my enlightener, and he'll take you step by step. Who are you to say that? The lessons clearly say the supreme wisdom lessons for the lost found tribe of Shabazz in the hells of North America. Therefore, all of Shabazz, all of Allah. When did the nation conceal the teachings? You think that people were going in and out of the nation all the time back then, between the 30s and the 70s, right? So people that didn't stay, you think they didn't teach their own kids the lessons? You think they didn't pass it on to their co-workers and their friends? Why do you think the messenger didn't get mad and said, leave the father alone? It's for everybody. It's for all 17 million of us. Stupid. Start comprehending what you're reading in the lessons. You're sitting there, read them all day, memorizing them, standing in the mirror, brushing your teeth, rattling them off while you're listening to your instrumentals that you're getting ready to use for your next mixtape, but you ain't comprehending what you're reading.
Right.
I don't care what you say, you're Muslim, you're part of the 17 million. If you ain't part of the 17 million, stop talking about the lessons, stop talking about anything black. If you're not part of the 17 million, then you're obviously Caucasian.
Yeah.
Because even if you're one of the 2 million Indians that make the 19 million, you're still Asiatic.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, some of them brothers is the quickest ones I see to bring around, you know, like divine evils and stuff like that. I've met a lot of, like, I remember when I first came down here to Georgia, I was meeting divine evils, you know what I'm saying? And yo, they got book of lives, they got lessons, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, look at this, you know, and I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? They got, you know, the Supreme Wisdom Package. They got, and the thing, but the funny thing is, you know, they would have sometimes more items than the NGE, the black brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because they may be like, oh no, that's, you know, the father didn't give us that. The father didn't, you know, whereas the Hispanic or the white, you know, 5%ers I would meet down here in the South, they didn't, whenever they looked at a piece of information and they knew it was knowledge, they took it in. They give me that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it almost kind of reminded me.
I mean, with that, with that or whatever, a lot of the white 5%ers that I met, you know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing negative to say. Yeah, as far as the way their presentation and their character was concerned and how they carried themselves, they could set an example.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
About they're not even as like.
That's the point I'm trying to make. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
especially the Italian ones. The Italian ones are some of the coolest ones that I've met as far as that were, you know what I'm saying? But Italians usually are, you know, but I'm just saying, like, we just need to have better decorum and better presentation. That's all. Like, you know, I still do what I do, don't get me wrong, but when anything that has to do with like what we're dealing with right now, I'm gonna present it in the right way. Like, as black people, I'm just talking like my grandma used to teach me when I was growing up. When you go somewhere important and you need to be punctual, don't be on no nigger shit. You can't.
I don't know if you've seen this book right here by Budge. You know what I'm saying? By Wallace
E.A. Wallace Budge.
Yeah. The Egyptian Book of the Dead. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget. You know, I had this book for years. Yeah, I had this book for years, but I never forget. I was just looking at it when I was saying that to you. God came over my house one time. NGE 5%er. Down here in Georgia. He saw, God, what's this? God, yo, what you doing reading this? God, yo, did the father didn't give us that? God, yo, like. But again, the white 5%ers, they oh man, even though the father didn't give us that or whatever, they see common sense. Yo, this is intelligent. This it has knowledge in it. It's something to be learned in this. Oh,
Right.
you see what I'm saying? So right, that's the point I'm making. They can leave an example to the NGE, to the black brothers in the NGE.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But
Right.
yeah,
It's even the
God, I mean,
messenger taught if a white man, even the messenger taught if a white man is carrying him a certain way, give him that respect. Just commonly, you know what I'm saying?
right, right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just character development. I mean, it's so many things, but I mean, at the end of the day, you hit it right on the head when you said reading comprehension, because I think that's what it ultimately boils down to. Reading comprehension, and like I always, say that, along with indoctrination, because there is indoctrination going on in not just the NGE, but in a lot of different camps, you know what I'm saying, or schools of thought. But over there, we can more so see it, firsthand. You know what I'm saying? The indoctrination when a person reads something that's literally telling them that they're a Muslim, a righteous Muslim, but they say, no, I'm gonna just say righteous God. I'm gonna change that to God.
When
Not
somebody keep
knowing that
trying to say
how
they're
do you
not a
make
part of
devil?
the
You make devil
part of
by
the
changing or grafting from the original. So
grafting,
go ahead, God.
right?
Yeah,
When somebody keeps trying to go over and over again and argue down that they're not a part of the 17 million by telling you that I'm not Muslim, when we know the 17 million is all of us and it's 17 million Muslims from the tribe of Shabazz, you should be taking the lessons out their hands. You should get
right.
people need to start getting hostile with them the way they get hostile with people. Because
You
anytime you're
see, but
Asiatic,
and that's true. That's true, God. But see, and now that's like you was just saying a little while ago. We try not to do that. Like I be trying to deal with them more civilized, but it's almost like a 5-year-old, like, and I'm 50, a 5-year-old telling a 50-year-old something, and I'm just like, he's kicking this to me like I never heard it before. He's, well, okay, well, what does it mean when Elijah, like the other day we were watching this video on YouTube, when the brother's talking about, when Elijah said, a portion of the book is supposed to be left for some other fellow, for somebody else. The brother's talking about, yo,
right?
that's a lot of father. He's talking about the father. And I'm like, yo, how was the father the successor when he died before the messenger physically left us? So
I was just about to say that.
how is that even comparable? How did that even make sense? How is he the successor for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? But they and it's like the
Did the
brother got it on his
messenger
video. Listen, the brother got it on his video, and he's such a known figure, top ranking figure among this group or this nation, if you will. People are gonna see that and they're gonna go
right?
around saying that now, like, yo, brother Clarence, the father Allah, Allah. And when they say Allah, they ain't talking about Master Father Muhammad. Allah, Allah, the
Right.
father was the successor of Elijah, and and that's where they got it from, a video where he didn't give no breakdown. He didn't give no understanding. Just like when he talked about the tribe of Jabbar, he didn't give no understanding of the origin. He didn't give nowhere where the messenger mentioned anything about that. He didn't give nowhere throughout ancient civilizations or in ancient texts where you can read about nothing. But people will hear that and they'll run with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's scary.
You got to look at it. You got to look at it like this: did the messenger or Master Fard, allow the person of Master Fard Muhammad at any time go give the holiest flag in the universe to any white devil, present it to them, tell them they could wear it, go around? They can't, because that doesn't belong to them. That's number
Right.
one. Number two, the messenger clearly stated that after him, there wouldn't be no more leaders, successors, or whatever. Last Savior's Day. This is what I always tell them. I tell them, yo, go watch the Last Savior's Day. When you put it in the DVD player or whatever, go all the way to like the last 20 minutes. 20-minute mark, like towards the end of the video, or give yourself about a good half an hour and listen to what he says. When he says after him must come God himself, must come Allah, must come God himself, he's not talking about Allah the Father. He's saying that if you study all his teachings and you study his lessons and the 120 and everything that he left you with in his program, your culture will go from Islam to I God. You will be the Allahs that he was trying to bring us up to be. That he was trying to take us away from what was keeping us from becoming Allah. Right? He's breaking that down. He broke that down in the Last Savior's Day. He made it crystal clear, simple, and plain. There ain't, how can he be and like you said, he ended up returning to the essence before the messenger even did. Because when you were saying that, I was like, yeah, I was about to say that. So I mean, common sense, if you have any comprehension and you grew up with the English language like most of us did over here in the hells of North America, we all know what it takes and makes to be a successor. What the definition or the basic is of that. So how is that possible? You just want to say that because you want to move the goalposts. You want to say that so you have a right. Just come out and say it. Like, you see how long my locks are? I sit on them. I was once in the temple. I was in minister's classes. A lot of stuff that went on with me. I was going through things in life. I left. I never went back, but I plan on going back because I'm going to cut my hair probably within the next year. That's probably the only reason I haven't gone back yet. When I'm ready to go, I'll go back. But do like I just did and tell the truth. Be a man. Stand on your square. To all you little Allahs out there, you little gods or whatever, and just say, you know what? I recognize the fact that I'm a Muslim, but I'm not right now. I'm not a righteous Muslim right now. I'm not practicing refinement. I'm not trying to increase my power. I'm not with the discipline. That's why I don't want to go in the mosque or go in the temple or study the messenger's teachings hardcore and try to live them out. Because I'm at a point in my life where I want to party and bullshit, where I want to use baby language, where I want to engage in certain things, where I also might want to be involved in a gang too while I'm doing this and doing that. Or while I'm still sleeping with the enemy, or whatever you're doing out there. I don't know what you're doing. You might be doing Grand Theft Auto, white collar crime, whatever you're doing. You still ain't in the higher self yet. Just go on and admit that and be like, yeah, I'm a student. I'm a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I got knowledge of self. I'm a 5%er. I belong to the NGE, but I had the understanding that we are Muslims by nature. But I ain't with that Muslim shit right now because I don't want to deal with the discipline. If you go on ahead and you sit it and you say it down like that, I can respect that then. At least you're standing on truth. Yeah, I understand this is Islamic, but I don't get into the Islamic part of it. I just get into the lessons and the parliaments and the building and the teaching and spreading the knowledge. I don't get into the discipline of it. If you say it like that, I respect it. But when you just flat out say, oh no, there can't be a Muslim gods or my culture ain't Islam, you're not a 5%er. You don't understand the lessons. To me, you're telling me that you're an immigrant and ICE should come take you away because you don't speak or understand English.
Right.
The lessons are written in English. My people been here for 400 years. We was forced to read and speak English. I comprehend what I read. I can put them lessons in front of an 8-year-old and he can study them for about a month. And just with normal comprehension, he ain't even got to be a gifted kid. He can get the common sense of what the lessons are saying.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean,
every time they do the I'm not Muslim thing, just be like, who are the 17 million? And the 17 million represents who in the lessons? So if you're part of the 17 million and you're one of the lost found Asiatics in the hells of North America and you're Muslim by nature, according to the lessons, please explain to me again why you're not Muslim. So you're telling me that you're not part of the 17 million. Well, if you're not part of the 17 million, as you would say, you don't need to have that in your hand. You can give it to me or I'll snatch it out of your hand if you want to fight for it, because that's for me and my race and the rest of the Asiatics.
They can't be members of the 17 million because they're not even the tribe of Shabazz. And the
Is that what
messenger
they're
said that
saying?
was the
Now they don't.
tribe that came. The messenger said that was the tribe that came with this planet when it was blasted. So they're not even, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know they. I didn't even know that they weren't still identifying as Shabazz, because I mean, when I was coming up, a lot of the
No,
gods had Shabazz as
no,
part of their names.
right. No, they don't. They don't identify with Shabazz, is what I'm saying. They call themselves the tribe of Jabbar. That's what they call
If
themselves.
you're
You
not
know,
from the
they
tribe
have
of
no
Shabazz, then you
origin
ain't
of this
God. Then
tribe. Huh? Say it again.
if you're not from the tribe of Shabazz, then you ain't God. Then, and you damn sure shouldn't be having anything with the holiest flag in the universe on it, because that is the crown for the black God tribe of Shabazz on the planet Asia. It's his
Hey, I say it
crown
all.
because he is the God of the universe, which consists of the sun, moon, and stars.
I say it all the time. I mean, see,
That
and like
flag
what you just
represents
said,
freedom,
I
justice, equality, and Islam.
right, and just like what you just said, you know, I could agree with brothers like like say brother Maliki, you know what I'm saying, or there's other brothers that to me they're Muslim gods, and to the NGE, as much as they would like to sit up there and say, oh, I don't call myself that, but they look at them as that too, because once you start mentioning the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings and all of this Islamic stuff, in their mind, you're a Muslim god. So, you know what I'm saying? But I could respect him because he
Well,
don't
yeah, I
say,
studied
oh, it's
Brother Minister Alif and Maliki Fard and all them, the Supreme Angels. I consider myself a Supreme Angel. We're all from the
right.
same
You know what
area,
I'm
the
saying?
Philly area, but they're all over.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But again, I could respect them because they just, they say they are Allah's angels or supreme angels or whatever the case. And, I don't call myself a Muslim god, or I don't use that terminology, though I understand it or I respect it or whatever. Could respect those brothers because again, they know the origin of the word. They know in the lessons is teaching us that we're Muslims and we're gods. They know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used that word Muslim God when describing the scientists. They understand all that, but they just say, I just choose not to call myself. I can respect that. But it's when you come and say, "Oh, that word is stupid. It's an oxymoron. The lessons don't teach that." That's when it's like, okay, let me go ahead on and get the boxing gloves on because we finna, you know what I'm saying? We finna, intellectually duke it out right now because, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, God, I mean, indoctrination and reading comprehension, I think that right now is what's plaguing the nation of gods and earths. My opinion.
I mean, the easiest way, there's simple ways to deal with them, and I've sat back over the last 5 years and I watched. Whenever they start talking about, well, I feel as though, well, I'm saying the way that I see it, you'll notice they'll always go and they'll be like, I'm not saying, but I don't have a problem. Just to clear this up, I don't have a problem with what the messenger said. I back up everything. Like I'm down with what everything Elijah said. And I'm not saying I'm against what the messenger said. You know how you shut them the hell up? You go and get something that the messenger said on the subject that they said, and you'll hear crickets. You see, I did that the other day in the group. I went and I put the statement where the messenger was talking about when he was like, well, when did Fard ever say he was God? I went and got the
Yeah.
proofs, dropped it on there. It shows you who the messenger said it to, the brother Hatib, doing whatever. When the brother was asking him at what point did they start referring to Master Fard Allah as God in person? And he breaks down, he says in the end, he said he's the one that will come in the end, in the dreadful day and all that, breaking down that he's the Mahdi. I put it up there, crickets. They'll always do that. They'll be like, we ain't against the messenger. We ain't against nothing. We never said the messenger was a liar. We never, or whatever. As soon as they
But
say that, that's your cue. Go get what the messenger
right.
said on said topic. And they'll either switch the subject and run away from it, or they'll be like, no, but at the end of the day, we have a lot more in common than we have differences. Yeah,
Mhm.
you know what's up.
No,
They
well,
don't want.
usually what they'll say is what they say to me when I do that, what you just said, and present them with the information right in front of their face, like, here, boom, now what? And I'm sitting there waiting for they'll just go to, well, the father didn't teach us that. So, you know what I'm saying? The father and the firstborn
Why
didn't
would he
teach us
teach?
that.
Why would he
So,
need to teach everybody
so
in the street all that when his main objective, a lot of fathers' program was get these lessons to the street, to the babies, get
mhm.
them as many Asiatics as possible. Why would he give you everything from the temple if he had left the temple? This is what I mean about their common sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so Allah didn't teach you that, but it's your duty as a civilized person to teach civilization and also to keep studying so you become even more civilized and refined. So you mean to tell me you just stop at the lessons? Because this new generation, that's what most of them do. They stop at the lessons and the plus degrees. They don't go to the library. They don't buy books. They don't read books by different people in the Nation of Islam, different people in the 5% community or whatever. Some of them, the most that they know is the lessons and In the Name of Allah, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and that's it. They don't know nothing else. They think that between those two is the Quran and Hadiths. They say they're not spooky. The Quran and the Hadiths of the Nation of Gods and the Earth, okay? The Quran to them is the supreme wisdom lessons, and their Hadiths of their prophet, yeah, I'm saying it. Their Hadiths are In the Name of Allah, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Because every one of them that I come across, if it don't come out of the supreme wisdom lessons or them two books, and you'll hear them say, nah, because it says in Volume 1 or Volume 2, look, I can go in, look, I have the book and it's highlighted. If it don't come out of either of them three books, bro, they're not trying to hear it.
Wait, you saying with the NGE? If it comes out of, because I don't even know them to even read In the Name of Allah. Like you talking about Wakil's book In the Name of Allah?
Wakil's book, yeah, Volume 1 and Volume 2. The main three things that they're going to go off of.
Right, they'll read it, but they refute mostly everything in it because they say Wakil didn't build with nobody. He didn't talk to the elders. He's making up stuff and, whatever. So, yeah, I've never heard them. I always see them denounce that book.
They bash him a lot. I've seen it a lot and I've heard it a lot. Well, they'll try to say, but if anything, I feel like he's done a lot more for the nation than anybody else and propagating their message and bringing more interest to the nation than anybody in the last decade, which is 10 years, to century, which is 21 years. With the exception of the Wu.
Right. I will go so far as to say 2 decades, you know what I'm saying, as far as literary, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, I give it to all of my newborns, you know what I'm saying? That's like one of the first books I give them after, Message to the Black Man and the Messengers books and stuff like that, the, beginner studies that we, boom, In the Name of Allah, because at least that way now they get an overall comprehensive knowledge of Brother Clarence and 13X, the father, Allah the father, and what he stood for and what he established and everything. And, Wakil is not really cutting any corners with it, like how those brothers will just speak very briefly about his Muhammad's mosque experience or temple experience and everything else he acquired in the U.S. military. They deal with that. What he acquired there more than they deal with what he acquired in Allah's military, the F.O.I. So, I think those are very I always call those like my textbooks. I give to my newborns, you know what I'm saying, to get them off the ground, But yeah, God, I'm gonna get ready so I could get ready to shut it down in a minute because I gotta make a quick move real fast, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Later on tonight, I don't know if Brother Jabbar, because I know he hit me earlier and said he was working, him and Brother Jihad popped on earlier, but if anything later on tonight, I'll see what the guards is doing. We probably could jump back on later, if anything, or if not later on tonight, later on in the week.
If I'm up, because I did that 12-hour shift, I might be up.
Oh, okay. Well, again, if not tonight, it'll be, probably sometime this week or whatever. But yeah, God, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on, man, building, man, and dropping the jewels and giving your see on a lot of things, man, because, hey, they got the Muslim gods, like, they,
I don't even use that term, though. You know what? You know how I shut them down? I give them my history and the fact that I've been a part of both sides of it. But I just tell that I keep it simple and plain. I'm a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Allah the person, the Master Fahiym Muhammad. So if that's letting you know right there what it is. I ain't got to use the term Muslim God. I'm one of the 17 million. If you don't know that, you don't know your lessons. And I leave it like that.
Right. And initially, that's what I would always do. I would tell people I'm a 5%er. Yeah, I'm still 5%, but I'm a 5%er, under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm one of those 5%, and that's usually where the whole, wait a minute, how could you be that? Oh, you're a Muslim God, and you're, but yeah, that's usually what I tell people too. I'm a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Master Fahiym Muhammad, but I'm one of the 5%, one of 17 million, and that's just as clean as an answer as you could give anybody, really. You know what I'm saying? But yes, sir, God, man. It was definitely good building with you though, Lord, man. Like I said, later on in the week, inshallah, I'll hit you up again. If we get on again with the gods, we probably gonna do a panel too, like very soon coming up, inshallah. I'll definitely keep you posted and let you know. You can come on and, drop a few jewels or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been
So,
watching because I watch a lot of your video. Like when I subscribe to the channel, there's times that I
yes,
watch
sir.
them when I come home from work through the years. But like lately, I've been watching them because I planned on coming
Mm.
on here with you. I'm like, Fa probably think I'd be ducking it. Like I don't want to get on there, and it don't be that. I
Yeah,
tried to avoid this. Like I really
yeah,
tried to
yeah,
avoid this for years and years. But it's like I just
yeah.
felt like somebody's got
Well,
to tell the truth, right? Hard, like, and
yeah,
not sugarcoat it. I'm not sugarcoating it for them. We all know if
right,
they went in the mosque, if they went in the temple, would nobody sugarcoat it? If they sat around some of the elders or the pioneers, they wouldn't sugarcoat it. What are they going to do? Get disrespectful with them? A lot of them will,
right,
because a lot of them are ignorant, but a lot of them are not, and a lot of them are willing to learn. But we got to
right,
put the truth
right.
out there.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, God, it
I
was
did
good
this
building
video
with
for the
you.
messengers.
Yeah, yeah. True indeed. True indeed. Well, inshallah, God, it was good building with you, man. We're gonna definitely get back again. I'm gonna lead the God, the great God, Amir, as I came in the Greek words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace
Peace.
to the gods. Peace.
Peace.